And welcome back to Columbus for the Dice Tower's coverage of Origins 2017. I'm Eric Summerer here with Paul from Split Second Games.
Hey everybody.
Hello. Welcome to Columbus.
Indeed.
We're going to talk about two games,
yes.
but the first one is something upcoming for one that I've really enjoyed, Paradox.
Oh, fantastic.
That uses this array of not gems, tokens,
yes.
and matching and in order to save the universe,
yes.
more or less. How are we saving the universe further?
Well, there's a past, present, and future to 15 worlds that are at risk of this storm that's knocking them out of space and time. You get resources that you need by manipulating space and time, which only makes the storm worse. But in order to do so, you need to get these elements from your grid before time runs out. So each round, you're going to grab one card from this stable wormhole and put it onto your player mat, and you're going to manipulate this grid by swapping out discs so that you can get rows or columns of the same color by swapping discs that have the same symbol. Mm-hmm. For instance, I could swap this disc here and this disc here, and I have a row of 5 black resources that would give me 2 resources to use as I want. The rest would go into a discard pile. These would all slide down, and I'd fill
them back up
for fresh discs.
Yes.
And hopefully, I would save enough of the worlds, because the larger your set is of the same world, the larger your point value is at the end of the game, assuming the world still exists.
Yes.
Because each time that you do something with a timeline, the storm will advance and possibly knock that world out of existence. You bring it back by using white or black resources. You do that for 12 rounds, and whoever has the highest point value is going to be the winner.
There we go.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
It's a simple game with a lot of complexity in combinations, but each of the individual elements are very easy to understand.
Okay. I love the illustrations in the fact that you've got this past, present, and future in these worlds, and if you look at the illustrations, they are, it's primitive civilization, and then something has happened, and often there's a little twist or a joke in the future civilization. Like these guys, a hunter goes after a creature, now he's riding the creature, and then the creature has overthrown the guy, they're actually eating him in the corner. Those little details I find fascinating, and it's really fun.
One of the best things we got to do is work with 15 different graphic designers and comic book artists, and we told them, here are your limitations. We want you to come up with your vision of a world, show how the past, present, and future evolves. You're not allowed to tell anyone what it is that you did, so that there is completely difference in all of the worlds. We played gatekeeper so that you could stop and do that. And it need to keep it at least family friendly.
There you go.
Those are the limitations we did, and what they gave us was enormous. It's easy to see what world you're trying to save.
It's very distinctive. Yeah.
We're really happy with the
color palettes. It's really cool. Anything that you're planning in addition to this? Expansions on the horizon?
We are looking at an expansion in the future to change this from a competitive game to a cooperative game. Brian Suri has been hard at work at a thing that keeps the chip-changing aspect of Paradox's core gameplay, replaces all the cards and the board with a new tableau, which will force players to work together to get the resources they need to pull planets out of the storm and stop it once and for all.
Oh, wow.
It is an amazing thing, and we're just working on the final tweaks to keep the tension at the level that we want it without it being too simple or overpowering.
Oh, wow.
So we are at the tweak level now.
So you don't quite have a timeline for that yet. It'll be ready when it's ready.
It'll be ready when it's ready. Right now, the thing that is our top of focus is 0 Hour for us.
Okay, well, speaking of
the devil,
let's talk about 0 Hour.
Let's talk very quickly about 0 Hour. 0 Hour is our pre-apocalypse zombie game.
Okay.
This is the moment right before things get to pandemic levels, where if you are smart, fast, and a little bit lucky, you'll be able to stop it once and for all.
Wow.
And
then you don't have a zombie game.
Yes, you won't have a zombie game. You'll have a game that is curing the rest of the afflicted. So you have a tracking board here that has all the things that you need. You have a whole bunch of city maps that you need to be exploring to find out clues about who the mastermind is who released this virus.
Oh, so somebody messed up or is doing it on purpose.
Somebody messed up or somebody is doing it on purpose. You don't know what it is. Okay. But you're going to need to clear city locations in order to get the intel that you desperately need to figure this out. You clear the cities, you get intel. You suppress the viruses, you get intel. Once you get to 5 points of intel, you'll know who the bad guy is, and they'll be making life difficult for you for the remainder of the game.
Okay.
Once you get to 10 points of intel, you can say as a team, because this is a completely cooperative experience, we are going to bring the final showdown to the next city. And if you are able to clear all the locations in that city, all the locations on their lair card, and suppress any remaining viruses, you will be successful and win the game.
Okay.
However, you cannot run out of any resource. You cannot be forced out of the final fight, and you cannot be knocked all unconscious at the same time. If you do all of those things, though, you'll be very successful. The trick is that while this is going on, exploring the cities begins simple and gets really, really difficult.
Okay.
So every turn that you're in the city, you're going to roll 5 action dice and 1 threat die for every space that you're along the threat track at the bottom. Eventually, that's going to go to 2 points of threat and 3 dice worth of threat, and you'll be rolling all of those dice in order to stay in the city and continue exploring.
And that's all good stuff, right? All
Not
those green
a
dice,
thing of that
things?
is good.
Oh.
All of those things push that threat track forward, putting constant pressure on you. If you stay in the city, though, you can get the resources that you need to continue pushing through. If you clear all of the locations, you will get this valuable intel, which will drive you forward.
Okay.
Between cities, you'll have opportunities to rest, to heal up a bit, to see if you were successful in suppressing the virus, and to ask yourself if you're ready for that final showdown. You don't have to do it immediately at 10. You can push it forward and continue exploring to get more intel, which will only help you in that final showdown even more. You'll come up with additional dice that you can use to swap out your dice as you're rolling, because while that is going on in the final showdown, the mastermind comes into play and has his own die, which will wreck your plans even further. It is a huge preparation for a third act in a 3-act structure that is driving a narrative forward about people who are ordinary people unaffected by this virus from all aspects of life, working together as a team to help each other out.
This guy seems like a good guy.
He is fantastic. He's our mechanic, and he can swap out fuel for anything that you need.
Wow. So how many characters we have in here?
We've got 14 characters there. Wow. Each of them has their sets of abilities. You gotta have it. Akita is the best. And all of them have their own special talents that they bring to the team. You're not going to know who the bad guy is until midway through the game, so hopefully you've created a diverse enough team of characters that you're ready to attack with force when the time is right.
Wow. How many cities do you usually go through before you go after the big bad?
You can go through as few as 3 or as many as 7 or 8, depending on how well you are attacking the cities and how lucky you're getting at the mitigation of luck.
Okay.
But as a general rule, about 5 or 6 is the max, and you'll get through that in about 60 to 90 minutes, maybe a little longer in your first play just to get the system down a little bit. But 60 to 90 minutes is a good average time. Longer if you are getting unlucky or you're really enjoying the narrative experience. Because, for instance, and this always happens, and it makes me laugh every time, because somebody plays the dog all the time.
Yep.
In between cities, the person who closed the city, who put the last location in place, is not going to be the next person to go. So the first person in the next city gets the threat marker put in front of them, and they are the driver during the city phase. During the event phase. So they're the ones making the decisions about whether or not you're going to accept these bad events or drive through them by spending fuel to accelerate it. And inevitably a dog will end up driving the car.
The driver.
And that always makes me smile every single time.
You planned for this.
I did indeed.
It's almost as if you are the mastermind behind the whole thing. All right, this is obviously a prototype. When do we see production?
We're looking at kicking this in October, and we're looking at this being either our Gen Con or our Origins release for next year.
Okay.
We are extremely excited about this. We have a number of plans for the expansion of this. We have 10 more characters in beta. We got 2 more bad guys in beta.
Boy.
It's coming with 6 bad guys and 12 good guys.
Okay.
It's got a lot of replay. If you like dice, you're going to get a ton of them. We're really excited about it. Jay made a masterclass of a pressure luck game.
Great.
And it ties to a fantastic 3-act structure that just makes it sing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Paul, thank you very much
Thank you for
spending
having
some time
me.
with us. And thank you for watching.
Thank you. Enjoy.
Hey guys, we're back with some Q&A. Okay, so
I have a Q and an A?
Yes, you do.
Fantastic.
So 0 Hour,
Yes.
I've played this game.
Yes, you have.
Yes, I have. So one of the questions we had a bunch of is the artwork on the cities. Is that going to be different?
Yes, it is. Yes,
Okay.
it is. There's 10 unique cities. We're looking to build out more. We wanted to have something to show off to people.
Right.
And we have probably another 20 hours of graphic design to add to that to wrap up the production for each unique city. But yeah, each city is going to end up with its unique background art.
Okay, how about the dice? You doing some custom dice for it too?
Custom dice, we've got the threat dice and the mastermind dice.
Right.
We're looking at the possibility of upgrading dice to sort of have a weird that Chessex sickly meld,
nice,
so that it feels a little infected.
Yes.
And so that's something that we'd love to stretch to.
Yeah. Well, this game is right up my alley because
Really?
it's all about dice chucking, pressure, luck, and survival, right? So
It really is. Like there's this wonderful narrative that's going through it, but if you're not a fan of challenging your luck, you're not going to enjoy it as much as if you like. You'll find the things that you enjoy, but if you don't like dice, this is not the game for you.
right. And people are asking about ways to mitigate.
Ways to
dice
mitigate the
rolls.
luck? Oh, there's tons of ways. Let's start with the two biggest ones. You'll have ammo and food. Ammo can be spent to reroll any number of green threat dice or purple mastermind dice that you roll poorly in a turn. You can spend it as often as you want, as many times as you want. You don't have to. You can spend it on just one die, or you can roll the entire set again. And you can continue to do that until you're satisfied with the results, or you simply accept the penalty. But if you run out of ammo, you've lost the game.
Great.
Likewise with food, you can spend one food to roll any number of white action dice again for placement onto the board. You can do that as much as you want to, and if you run out of food, you lose. And then thirdly, many of the characters have abilities that tie into their ability to manipulate the game in some way. Some of them, it focuses on the dice. Some of them have abilities that let you jam dice together into one larger number. 2 and 3 becomes a 5, place that 5 where you need it. Others let you split it apart. Others let you tweak the dice up by 1. One of my favorite characters is the gambler of the group, Sophia. She has an ability where if you roll 3 dice of any kind, they swap out with her trip 3s and gets a die of any value that you want. Also, if you have a die, she's got a coin flip. You can just spend one of her tokens to flip that die to the opposite side, and that can be a lifesaver when you're trying to get into one of the secured areas that are locked in, because you don't have many ways to tweak it. But if you can just use it at the right moment, you're gonna find success.
That's awesome. Okay, so this is coming to Kickstarter?
This is coming to Kickstarter in October.
Okay,
and
great.
we are going through the last of. We're actually looking at the beta for an additional set of characters.
Oh, nice.
Right now, we've talked with Jay. We are in various.
This is Jay Little game.
This is Jay Little's game, and we've been blessed and lucky to have him on.
And he's been working on it for a long time.
A very long time.
Yeah.
It was like 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years, yeah.
And just a series of bad luck on that.
Right.
But it turned out to our advantage because we've been able to work with him, and we've been able to work with Matthias Tapia for the artwork and get that Borderlands 2 style.
It definitely has that Borderlands style.
Yeah, that was one of the first things that we said.
Yeah.
Like, what is the art style? I'm looking for this. And we eventually stopped looking for people who looked like his style and just asked him.
Yeah.
And it ended up being an amazing experience working with him.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, more of that.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for stopping by.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, stay tuned for more.
Thank you.